Today's episode is about me ranting. I know I like talking about, life experiences, and this is actually one of my experiences I want to share with you guys. But before I get into the meat of the matter, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been watching the videos and who has been liking, and most importantly, the people who've been subscribing. Thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, please take some time and just like that, video and subscribe. It really goes a long way in supporting, and of course it goes a long way in letting YouTube know that you guys actually liking my videos, and it will recommend them to other individuals. Now back to my conversation. Today I want to rant, and I want to rant about these big companies and big entities, and I want to say that they are really killing small creators like myself. In case you don't know this, apart from just being a YouTuber, I also do things on the side. For instance, I MC events. But my biggest honor right now is actually voiceovers, because I have been doing voiceover since I was like 5 years old, as early as I can remember. Since I was a kid, voiceovers have always been a gig for me. But I've been getting these, clients who, will call you up and they will get you to do their voiceover. Now, there are two problems with these kinds of people that I want to talk about today. There are those clients, by the way, who are absolutely amazing. A client will call you up and will give you a gig, like not an MC gig, but a voiceover gig, and they will pay you, number one, very good money, and number two, they will pay you on time. Okay, so. And these companies, by the way, are the small companies, the ones that we like to consider SMEs. Sorry. Companies that are, either startups or, they just do small things that are being used on an everyday basis, or they're localized. Okay, I don't want to give examples because you might be knowing some of these companies, or I might end up in court defending myself over something that I said on YouTube. Okay, but there are companies who will call you. And I'm talking about the big companies, like the ones that are called the blue chip companies. They'll call you up, companies that are making billions of shillings in terms of profits, and sometimes even billions of dollars in terms of profits in this country of ours. They will call you up through an agency, of course, get you to do some gig for them, even an MC gig, or since we're here to talk about voiceover, they get you to do a voiceover gig. But the amount of money they're paying you, man, it's peanuts. Like literally peanuts. Okay? And then on top of the fact that they're paying you peanuts, they take forever to pay you. Now, in case you're new to voiceovers, let me tell you how much we are paid. Okay? A small voiceover that is going to be used on radio is probably going to cost, it's going to pay you about 15,000 Kenyan shillings. And we're talking about an advert that is probably going to play on radio for a month, 2 months maximum. Well, sometimes they play them even for a year, but sometimes they might just need a voiceover for a campaign, like a small campaign that is probably going to run for Christmas or Easter or Eid al-Fitr or whatever, It could also be something to do with maybe Mother's Day or Father's Day or International Women's Day. So those kinds of voiceovers, they just call you up and they're like, hey, moving here, there's this voiceover that we need you to do. We're going to pay you, 15 Gs. And sometimes it's cool, But now there's a problem here. There's a problem because some of these major companies will call you. Again, remember I said through the agents, yeah? And very quickly, let me just explain how agency works. A big company, a big blue chip company, the companies that ukifungua gazette, you see them declaring thousands, and actually not thousands, but millions and millions of shillings in terms of profit, or even billions, billions of shillings in terms of profit. Now, those ones, they have agencies that take care of their advertisements. All right. So big company, let's call this company A, will have an agency. Again, this agency is the one that handles their billboards, their voiceovers for TV and radio, handles their adverts for Magazeti, because the big companies don't have that time. So they'll create a budget and say, our budget for advertising this particular financial year, remember the financial year starts from July until the next year, June. So for this financial year, we probably have a budget of 100 million in terms of advertising. Okay. Now that money will be spread out for various advertising platforms. So remember, we have digital platforms like what are they called? Like social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, That's when influencers come in. That's when you see an influencer like Paul Mung'ala movie influencing, like last month I was doing what? Silent Night. Okay? So they will have small influencers like myself. We are called micro-influencers. Micro-influencers are guys who have like 5,000 followers to probably, I think, 100. I'm not sure. Yeah? That's a micro-influencer. So they'll get guys like us. You're given X amount of money to post things on your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever. Right? Now, another thing that they do, they also put that money into things like TV advertisements. Yeah, that's when you will see advertisements on K24, KBC, KTN, TV47, NTV, or whatever. All right? Then some part of that money as well also goes to things like Magazeti. That's when you will open the Standard newspaper, see an advert. Nation newspaper, see an advert. People Daily, see an advert. The agencies are the ones who handle that. Now, agencies are the guys who will decide how much Paul Mung'ala movie is going to get paid for this particular gig. All right? And of course, agencies, just like any other company, want to make maximum profits. So what do? Call you up and start negotiating with you. All right? Now, remember I told you something for like a radio advert, you're probably going to get paid 15,000. For a TV advert, you're probably going to get anything from 25,000 to 50,000, depending on also the agency. Sometimes you can even get 100 G's, depending on the agency that has called you and the relationship you have with them. Now, things like a billboard, yeah, when you see Eric Omondi on a billboard, or you're seeing Calligraph Jones on a billboard advertising a particular product, it's because they've probably been paid, again, depending on the person, the artist, depending on whether you're Paul Mung'ala movie or you're Calligraph Jones, okay? Paul Mung'ala movie is probably going to get 150K to appear on a billboard, okay? Lakini, now when you call someone like Calligraph, or you're calling someone like Eric Omondi, of course, he has got, number one, bigger, larger audience, larger following, and of course, a larger influence, okay? So he'll probably ask the agency, hey, me, if you don't give me a meter, 1 million bob, I'm not going to appear on your billboard. Yeah. So also it depends on the levels. Now, I started off this particular video saying that these companies are killing small creators like myself. Why am I saying this? It is because whatever amount you've agreed that you're going to pay these guys, and remember, I've told you sometimes it's very little money. When you agree on whatever amount you're going to pay these guys, sometimes the money doesn't come on time. Yeah. So sometimes you're told you'll be paid after 45 days of invoicing, from the day of invoicing. Yeah. And it's not the day you as Paul Mung'ala movie invoices the agency. Right. Remember, you're not dealing with a big company. You're dealing with their agency. Okay. Sometimes they tell you from the day we as the agency invoice our client. Now, the client here is the big company, the blue chip company. Yeah, the $1 billion company. The day they invoice that guy is now, you start counting 45 days from that time. And you see, unfortunately, you won't know when they invoice their clients. And here is another thing. Sometimes the big company, their client, has already paid these guys in advance, either at the beginning of the financial year, or sometimes they pay quarterly. So, for example, the first quarter of the year is between January and March. So, out of the 100 million they had already said that they're going to use for advertising, they can chuck the first quarter. So that's 25 million. So they say, agency Flani, let's call this agency Avocado. Agency Avocado, shikeni 25 million. Make sure that you guys run our marketing campaign for the first quarter. Let's see how it performs, so now we can see what we can tweak, what we can change, what we can remove for the second quarter. And that's what happens most of the times. A big company like a bank, yeah, doesn't want avocado agency invoicing them every few days. At when kuna jamaa litwa Paul movie alifanya advert hapa hivi, hebu 15K tumlipe. No. The big company, the big bank will just chomoa the 50 million and say, shikeni pesa, as we just want to see adverts. Yeah, and we want reports on the performance of every advert you guys are doing. So if you're doing a billboard, we want to see how it performed. We want to see the return on investment. You put a billboard on Gong Road. Did people buy our product now that you put it on Gong Road? If it is a bank, you put our billboard on Gong Road. Did we get more customers at our bank because of that billboard? So that's how they, check out their KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators. Of course, they agree between the agency and the bank. Okay? Now, getting back now to me, the small creator. You can imagine, umefanya ka advert, kuna kainzi hapa, don't mind the inzi. You can imagine, umefanya advert ya 15K. Okay? Ulitoka home, ukenda studio. Me, I have my own studio at home. So I don't really need to go to a studio. But sometimes the agency will say, yapana movie, as we want to do with our studio, because our studio has got, we can be assured of our quality. We can be assured of our quality. So sisi yo studio yako yuko huko Mlolongo, hatutaki kusikia wewe kuja huku kwetu. Okay? And you're like, it's fine. But now you can imagine, you're being paid 15 Gs in 2024. You go all the way to, say, Westlands, or you go to Parklands, or you even go to town to do this advert. Okay? Someone like me, I drive. Fuel, the moment you're getting kwenda town, it will cost at the very least a G. Yeah? And that is going and coming back. Yeah? But now here is someone, and you tell them, look, I have a studio. If it's a one-liner, and maybe sometimes even in that advert, all you're saying is, welcome, this is your bank of choice. Imagine that's all you're saying, and you tell them, I can actually do it from here. I have equipment, but they insist, no, come. We need you to do this advert in our studio. And you're like, cool. But you know what? These guys won't pay your fees, your fuel. Then they'll tell you this advert costs 15 Gs. Take it or leave it. Aya, unasema nyaje, haba na haba ujaza kibaba. You take the 15 Gs, you agree to the 15 Gs, you go. Once you finish recording, umeshamaliza, you ask them, kila kitu kwa sawa, wanakuambia, movie, good job. Come back home. Umechill hivi, 2 days later they call you. Movie, client amechange a few things. Unamuliza, what could have changed between welcome to your bank of choice? What could have changed? They're like, Ebukam, there are a few changes. You wakisha your car again, all the way to town. Only for these guys to tell you that the change that has been there is not welcome to your bank of choice, welcome to the bank of choice. The only thing that has changed is from you to there. So now you're no longer saying welcome to your bank of choice. You're saying welcome to the bank of choice. You're like, what? What the hell is wrong with you guys? Anyway, you do it. And then they tell you, thank you, movie. Mambo sambamba. Good job. You come back to your house in, Syokimau. And you're chilling like this. 2 days later, you receive another call. Hey, movie. Now the client has decided the voice you used was a bit too bassy or soprano-ish, or they needed to make it a bit faster, to make it a bit slow. You're like, okay. And remember, you're now talking to Avocado Agency, yeah? Avocado Agency tells you all these things. And you're like, okay, bro. But so far, you may spend 2 Gs on fuel kukuja kwenu, na mnafaa kunipatia 15K. Okay? So kumaanisha already out of 15K, ile pesa inanisaidia hapo, hivyo profit yangu ni 13K. Sasa tutaishindi back and forth aje? Anakuambia soja tu mbuvi manzejo, hii bank manzejo, ni bank kubwa manzejo, asi unajua manze lazima ufanye kitu unataka, story mingi. And you say, okay, fine, I'm coming, but this is the last time I'm coming to make a change. Can you just talk to your client and let them align, uko kwa ofisi, whoever they need to decide with, to agree that this is what they want and I will do it the way they want, but don't call me 16 times. Like I was telling movie, this is the last time. Okay, you go. You've gone, you figured it out, unafanya ile kitu, mpaka unapatia different takes. You do a faster one, you do a slow one, you do a moderate speed one, you do one with a bass, you do one with a soprano, you do that one with an alto, you do another one with a tenor. You like give them combinations, ndio wasikuite tenor. You even do one, unamwambia hapa tufanye na Kiswahili. Tufanye na Kizungu, tufanye na Kiswahili, hata mkitaka nitafanya na Kikamba, msiniite hapa tena. Okay? Because remember now, out of 15 Gs, my friend, Your profit here is now 12 Gs. And you're like, it's okay. Unamaliza, you get back home. Then now you start calling this guy maybe a week after that. Niaje? Sasa, payment, invoice nisha kutumia, mnanilipa siku gani? Guess what they tell you? Ati ya client hata wali decide kuna na sauti ingine. And you're like, you idiot. What is wrong? So you've called me Tom 3 times. I've done this voiceover 3 times. And you've still decided to go with another voiceover artist because someone in bank A that was supposed to make a choice has just decided, they don't like Movie's voice. And you know what? It's fine. It's okay if you don't like my voice, but then you do not have to use my voice for your voiceover, for your advert, for your product. It is okay. But can you at least, and this one, by the way, I blame the agencies, the avocado agencies. You are the guys who are supposed to be telling the clients, by the way, tafadhali, make a choice. This is because these people have our voices. We've done many adverts for many other products. Sikizisha client wako umwambie, look, this is how movie sounds. This is how Kevo sounds. This is how Susan sounds. And this is how whoever sounds. Once the big guys have decided on the person and they narrow down, that is when you can call Paul Movie. But don't call Paul Movie. Kumbuku on the side, you've also called Susan. On the other edge, you've also called Kevo. Sasa ni kutupigisha tu maraundi huku Nairobi. So you can imagine I've already spent 3 Gs. And I won't get paid. What is that? That's my point for this video today was because I'm currently dealing with such a client. I am currently dealing with such a client. And it is not easy. Mtu anakuita town, anakuzungusha, anakuita westi. Sometimes they even make you work up until midnight. Sometimes past even midnight. And the only thing they give you is coffee. Na umekuwa huko kutoka saa 10. The only thing you're getting is coffee. And they expect you to perform at 100% past midnight. Something needs to change, man. Something honestly needs to change. That was me ranting. I hope you like this video. If you're going through something similar, manze, pole sana. And I don't know, maybe as voiceover artists, we just need to come together and form like is there a group by there? There could be a lobby group out there. I don't know. If kama mko hapo, please holler at a brother. Because, hey, the trouble we're going through out here. Pesa kidogo lakini unasumbuliwa.